Hello friends, myself Nitin, and today we will be studying a topic, natural vegetation and wildlife. So before we start with this topic, I would request you to have a copy and pen with you to note down important points from this topic. Also, I would request you to watch this lecture till end to have maximum benefit from this lecture. So our topic is natural vegetation and wildlife. Natural vegetation and wildlife. We have two terms here, natural vegetation and wildlife. So we will first study what is natural vegetation. Natural vegetation. We define natural vegetation as all those plant communities which have grown naturally without any human efforts and which have been left undisturbed by the humans over a long period of time. So you can note down the definition for natural vegetation. It refers to all plant communities which have grown naturally or without human efforts and have been left undisturbed by humans over a longer period of time. So I hope you people have noted it down. Natural vegetation, it refers to all plant communities which have grown naturally or without human effort and have been left undisturbed by the humans over a longer period of time. So this is how we define natural vegetation. Our next term is wildlife. Now what is wildlife? Wildlife refers to all animal community on this earth. So this is how we define wildlife. Wildlife refers to animal communities. Natural vegetation refers to plant communities. Also you will come to see two more terms, flora and fauna, frequently while studying environment or in geography. Flora actually refers to natural vegetation, means plant communities, while flora refers to, means fauna refers to wildlife. Flora refers to plant communities or natural vegetation, fauna refers to wildlife. So if you have written this definition, we will come to our next topic, that is different factors which determine the natural vegetation and wildlife at a particular place. So our next topic is factors which determine natural vegetation at a place. Now What are those factors? First is soil. The soil found in that particular region, how it determines the natural vegetation of that place. How it determines, for example, if the soil present is there is desert or say sandy soil, then what kind of vegetation you will be finding there? You will be finding there shrubs, thorns, bushes, something like this. Now, what if, for example, the soil present there is marshy soil or peat soil? You will be finding there mangroves. Now, what if the soil present there is, say, alluvial soil? You may be finding there grasslands. If the soil present there is, say, mountain soil, then you will be finding there dense forest. So this is how the different soil types lead to different types of vegetation. So this is how soil determines the natural vegetation of a particular place. So our next factor is after soil we have climate, our second factor. Now, how climate determines the natural vegetation of a place? Now, climate has two components: precipitation or the amount of rainfall at a particular place, and then temperature. Now, how these two determine the natural vegetation of a place? For example, if the precipitation is high, of course, the chances for the vegetation there to be very dense is high. We have seen in tropical areas, here the precipitation is high and the vegetation which we find here is evergreen forest. And if the precipitation is low, say for example in subtropical areas, here we have less dense vegetation due to low precipitation. So this is how precipitation determines in terms of temperature. In tropical areas where the temperature is moderate, throughout the year we have evergreen or dense vegetation. And in subtropical areas where we find extreme temperatures, means too cold or too hot, we have less dense vegetation. So this is how temperature and precipitation used to mean, these are the two components of climate and how these two determine the natural vegetation of a place. Our third component or third factor is after soil and climate, our third factor is elevation. Elevation here refers to height or altitude from sea level. Now what does this refers to? How elevation used to determine the natural vegetation? See, we know that trees, in order to grow, require certain amount of temperature, precipitation and atmospheric pressure. Now all these three, temperature, precipitation and atmospheric pressure, after a certain height from the sea level, say about 3500 meters or above this, all these three are means not available in adequate amount for the trees or plants to grow. So what we will see that after a particular height in this, especially means when we go to mountain areas, we see that after this height we will find very less vegetation in the form of forest. We will find a very less vegetation in the form of forest, and we will see that from 3500 to almost 4500 we will find grasslands, and above this we will have snow cover. The height till which we used to find forest or trees, that is known as tree line. So this is how elevation used to determine the vegetation. Means the greater the amount, means height from the sea level, the lesser is the chance for means forest or trees there. You will finding grasslands, and above a certain level we will have snow cover. So this is how elevation used to determine the natural vegetation. Our fourth factor is humidity. Now, what is humidity? Humidity is the amount of moisture content in the air. The amount of moisture content in air. Now, how humidity determines the natural vegetation? Say, for example, if relative humidity at a place is high, then evapotranspiration by plants will be low, and this will inhibit plants growth. What do you mean by evapotranspiration? See, this consists of two words, evaporation and transpiration. The amount of water which is carried by the plant through its roots towards its leaf, and then from leaf to the atmosphere. This whole process is known as evapotranspiration. Means from root to leaf it is known as transpiration, and from leaf to atmosphere it is known as evaporation. So if the relative humidity, means the amount of moisture content in a particular place, is high, then the amount of evapotranspiration will be low by the plants, and that will stop the plant's growth or converting plants into trees and or forests. And of course, if this is vice versa, means just opposite, means the relative humidity is low and the condition, means the temperatures are warm, then this will promote plants growth and promote trees and forest. So this is how humidity determines the natural vegetation of a particular place. And our fifth and the last factor is amount of sunlight. Our fifth and last factor is amount of sunlight. See, we know that for plants to grow, they used to perform photosynthesis, means preparing their own food in the presence of sunlight. But this sunlight is not present in the same amount at every place. For example, at few places, the sunlight may be present for 10 hours. At few other places, it may be present for say 14 hours. Of course, the greater the amount of sunlight or greater the amount of hours for which sunlight is present, the greater will be the amount of photosynthesis done by the plants, and the greater will be their growth. So this is how the means we can the amount of sunlight present at a place. The greater the sunlight, the greater the photosynthesis, and the greater will be plants growth, and vice versa. Means if the lower the amount of sunlight present, lower will be the photosynthesis and lower will be the plant's growth. So these are the 5 factors. I hope you people have noted it down in your copy. After studying these 5 factors, we will study about the 5 different kind of vegetation found in India, and we will study about them in detail. So note it down, 5 different kind of vegetation which we will be studying there. What are these 5 types of vegetation? First is tropical, evergreen, forest. Next is tropical deciduous forest. This is again divided into 2: tropical moist deciduous, and then tropical dry deciduous. Third is thorns bushes, thorns and bushes. Fourth one is montane forest, and the fifth one is mangroves. So these are the 5 types of natural vegetation predominantly found in India. We will study few things about them in detail. You can note down what we will study about them. We will study about these 6 things about them. First is the area covered by these 5 vegetations or natural vegetations. Next is the amount of precipitation found in these vegetation for them to grow. Third one is their location or the states where these vegetations can be found. Fourth one is their basic characteristics. Fifth one is the plants or flora found in these vegetation, and final one is fauna or animals of these vegetations. So I hope you people have noted it down. So we will, for example, we start with tropical evergreen forest, and we will study these 6 things or these 6 points about tropical evergreen forest: area covered by these vegetation in India, the amount of precipitation required for these, the location of the states where these tropical evergreen forests are found, some few of its basic characteristics, the types of plants or flora found here, and then types of animal or vegetation found here in tropical evergreen forest. So we will start with this. Now we will start with tropical evergreen forest. But before we start with tropical evergreen forest, we will know the definition of forest. How we define forest? We define forest as forest is a contiguous land of 0.5 hectares or more with canopy density of 10% or more and trees with minimum height of 5 meters. So this is the definition for forest, and this definition has been given by IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. So what is forest? Forest is defined as a contiguous land. Contiguous means a continuous, no breakage in between. Contiguous land of 0.5 hectares or more. It should be a contiguous land. Say this is a whole contiguous land of 0.5 hectares or greater than this. And next term is it has a canopy density of 10% or more. Then what is meaning of canopy density? Canopy density here, it means, for example, if this is a tree, then the area covered by this tree means the area covered by this tree, and this is a single tree, and so if we completely count the the total area covered by the tree in this format, then this area should be, the density should be 10% or more, means the area which is left uncovered and the area which is covered, means it should be, of course, minimum of 10% for the land to be called as forest. And the third one is that the trees should have a minimum height of 5 meters, means the trees which are found in that particular area to be called as forest, they should be of minimum 5 meters or more than that in height. So this is the definition of forest, and after this definition of forest we will study about our first topic is tropical evergreen forest. Now, as we have discussed that we will study six things about these type of natural vegetation. So our first thing is that the amount of area covered by this tropical evergreen forest in India. So how much this covers? This covers 12% of total forest cover in India. Now, what is total forest cover in India? It is almost, say, about 8 lakh square kilometers. And how much is this 8 lakh square kilometers? It is almost 25% of total land area in India. Now, what is total land area in India? That is almost 32 lakh square kilometers. So the total out of this 32 lakh square kilometer of total land area, 25% of the area, that means 8 lakh square kilometer is of forest cover, and out of that 8 lakh square kilometer, 12% of the total forest cover or 12% of this is covered by tropical evergreen forest. So I think you might have noted down the area covered by this tropical evergreen forest. Our next point about tropical evergreen forest is second point is location, means where these tropical evergreen forests are found in India. So these are mainly found here in Western Ghats. So you can write it down in Western Ghats, and then parts of Northeast here, parts of Northeast, state covering Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal, mainly these three states are covered by tropical evergreen forest, and beside this Andaman and Nicobar islands, means here the Andaman and Nicobar islands present here, these are also covered with tropical evergreen forest. So I hope you people have noted down. I have just drawn a rough sketch of this map of India, and I am trying to show you the location of these natural vegetation on this map. So remember this for tropical evergreen, the Western Ghats and these parts of Northeast, these are covered with tropical evergreen, TE, tropical evergreen, TEF, tropical evergreen forest, and here evergreen forest, parts of Andaman and Nicobar Island. So our third point about tropical evergreen forest is the amount of precipitation found in tropical evergreen forest. So note it down, it is greater than 200 centimeter of annual rainfall. So this is the precipitation. The precipitation in this region, Western Ghats, due to southeast monsoon, the precipitation here is high, and that is higher than 200 centimeter. And similarly here, means this one is Arabian branch of south, means monsoon, and this one is Bay of Bengal branch of monsoon. Due to the rainfall, high rainfall from this, the rainfall here it reaches to 200 centimeter or more than that as annual rainfall. So the precipitation found in this tropical evergreen forest is greater than 200 centimeter of annual rainfall. So our fourth point about tropical evergreen forest is the basic characteristics. So note down two of its basic characteristics. First is these tropical evergreen forests, never shed their leaves. So these are evergreen forests, means they never shed their leaves, and they are evergreen. The second thing is that the trees here in this tropical evergreen forest, they are sometimes greater than 60 meters in height. Means most of the trees which you will find in this tropical evergreen forest, they are very too tall, say more than 60 meters in height. So these two are the basic characteristics of this tropical evergreen forest. Our fifth point about tropical evergreen forest is plants or trees found here. So the major predominantly found trees here are mahogany, cinchona, rosewood, sandalwood. Note it down. These are few predominantly found trees in tropical evergreen forest: mahogany, cinchona, rosewood, sandalwood. And the sixth and the last point about sixth point is the animals or fauna in this forest. So mainly you will find here elephants, monkeys, birds, bats, etc. You can note down these 4-5 animals which are predominantly found here in tropical evergreen forest. And so these are the 6 things which we have studied about tropical evergreen forest. Similarly, these 6 things we will study about other forests. So our next in the list is tropical deciduous forest. Second one is tropical deciduous forest. Is tropical deciduous forest. So first thing is that area covered by this vegetation. So tropical deciduous forest covers almost 68% of the total forest cover in India. Now, but this tropical deciduous forest is again divided into two: tropical moist deciduous and tropical dry deciduous. Now, this tropical moist deciduous, while it covers 33% of this 68, tropical dry deciduous covers 35%. So this is the area covered by this vegetation. Next is precipitation. Second point about this is precipitation. Now, the precipitation ranges from 70 to 200 centimeter of annual rainfall. Now, this 70 to 200 centimeter of annual rainfall is again divided into two mean. For tropical moist deciduous forest, it is from 100 to 200 centimeter of annual rainfall, while for tropical dry deciduous, it is from 70 to 100 centimeter of annual rainfall. So I hope you people have noted down these two things about tropical deciduous forest. Next is characteristics. Third point about this. What are the characteristics for these tropical deciduous forests? These forests shed their leaves for 8 to 10 weeks in summer. We saw that tropical evergreen forests don't used to shed their leaves, but this tropical deciduous forest during the summers for 8 to 10 weeks they used to shed their leaves. So this is the main characteristic for tropical deciduous forest. Our fourth point about this is their location or areas covered by them. So mainly you will find that tropical deciduous means tropical moist deciduous. Tropical moist deciduous you will mainly found along the foothills of the Himalayas in this region. Okay, tropical moist deciduous. While tropical dry deciduous you will be finding in this central part of India. Tropical dry deciduous. Now you can write the areas covered by this. For example, tropical moist deciduous, you can write Uttarakhand, northern Uttar Pradesh, northern Bihar, Sikkim, and parts of Arunachal and Assam. These are for tropical moist deciduous, and for tropical dry deciduous, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, West Bengal. So note down these areas. Means for a tropical moist deciduous, this portion you can mark it here in this this rough sketch of India, and for tropical dry deciduous you can mark this central part, and also you can note down few states where you can write it down for them. So I hope you people have noted it down. Our fifth point about tropical deciduous forest is plants or flora covered in this forest. So what are you will mainly find mahua, palash, sal, shisham, and sandalwood. These are few main trees which which you will find in the tropical deciduous forest: mahua, palash, sal, shisham, and sandalwood. And the sixth point is what are the wildlife or fauna in this forest. Of course, you in this region you know that we find lots of tigers, similarly lions in Gujarat, Gir region, elephants, deer, etc. So you can note down the wildlife found in this tropical deciduous forest. I hope you people have noted down all these 6 points about tropical deciduous forest. Our next is tropical thorns, bushes and shrubs. Natural vegetation in India is tropical thorns, bushes and shrubs. Tropical thorns, bushes and shrubs. Now again, first point about them is that the amount of area covered by them. Area covered. Now this is 2% of total forest cover in India. So these tropical thorn, bushes and shrubs cover almost 2% of total forest cover in India. We have already studied about total forest cover in India. Next is precipitation. What is the amount of precipitation here? The amount of precipitation here is less than 70 centimeter of annual rainfall. So do remember, means very less precipitation is available here in this tropical thorns and bushes and shrubs. Third one is location. So location, you will mainly find this in this western Rajasthan, parts of this Gujarat and parts of western MP, this portion. Also in few parts of Haryana and western UP. So you can note it down: tropical thorns, bushes and shrubs. Tropical thorns, bushes and shrubs are found. Location: western Rajasthan, you can note it down. Northern Gujarat, western MP, parts of Haryana and western UP. So this you can write down in location. Our fourth point is characteristics. What is the basic characteristic for these tropical thorn, bushes and shrubs? Actually, the basic characteristic is that the roots of these tropical thorns, bushes and shrubs, these are means very long. Due to very low precipitation in these regions, the roots of plants are very long. They go deep inside the earth to find the water for evapotranspiration. So roots of these plants are long to carry evapotranspiration in water deficient condition. So do remember that the roots of these plants are long to carry evapotranspiration in water deficient condition. Next is what are the plants or the flora or plant found here. We have already mentioned, we find here thorns, bushes and shrubs. Now in terms of fauna or wildlife, you can remember these by knowing that what kind of animals you generally used to see here in Rajasthan and Gujarat. Of course, donkey and mules, camel, horses, fox, rabbits, etc. So these are again these 6 points about the third type of natural vegetation in India, tropical thorn, bushes and shrubs. I hope you people have noted down all these 6 points. After this we will come to our fourth type of vegetation, that is mountain. After these tropical thorns and shrubs, we will go with our fourth type of natural vegetation. And what is that? that is montane forest. Fourth type of vegetation is montane forest. Now again we will start with the area covered by this montane forest. Now what is this area? This is 10 to 12% of total forest cover. Do remember this, that how much area is covered by this montane forest in India? This is almost 10 to 12% of total forest cover. Now what is the amount of precipitation found here in montane forest? This precipitation ranges from 70 centimeter of annual rainfall to 150 centimeter of annual rainfall. Actually what happens that this montane forest, this used to change its vegetation, means type of vegetation or type of trees. Why it changes? Because this montane forest varies in altitude or elevation. You might remember that we have studied earlier in factors which used to determine the natural vegetation of a place. So we know that elevation is a major factor which used to determine the natural vegetation. What happens in montane forest? In montane forest we have three different types of means vegetation. First one is those up to 1500 meters of height from the sea level. Next, from 1500 to say 3500 meters, then 3500 meters to say 4500 meters, then 4005 meters, greater than means this 4005 meters in height. So these are four different types of vegetation which will be finding in montane forest. This and due to this we will have different kind of trees in this region. For example, this flora or plants found in this up to say 1500 meters of height or elevation from sea level, we will mainly find here sal, teak and bamboos. Sal, teak and bamboos are found in the regions which are nearly 1500 meters of height from the sea level. When we go from 1500 meters to 3500 meters in height from the sea level in the mountainous region or in this mountain forest, we will see different other kind of trees or different other kinds of flora. So you will generally find oak, pine, spruce or maple trees. So remember this, up to 1500 meters we will find sal, teak, bamboo. From 1500 to 3500 meters, oak, pine, spruce, maple trees. And above this 3500 meters we will be finding trees like rhododendron and juniper, etc. So more than 3500 meters in height in this mountain region we will be finding rhododendron and juniper trees like this. And in between 1500 to 3500, oak, pine, spruce, maple trees, and less than 1500 meter sal, teak and bamboo. So these are the means basic flora found here. And in terms of fauna or wildlife, you if you remember that what kind of wildlife you used to find in this mountainous region, of course you remember sheep, then antelope, then bear, then leopard. So remember these 4 5 major type of wildlife which are found in this mountain forest. Okay, sheep, antelope, bear, leopard, etc. Then location. The major location for this mountain type of forest is this region. Here mainly in the this region and this region, mountain forest. Means it mainly covers Himachal, Uttarakhand, parts of this Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. So in location you can write Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. Also you can mention about Jammu and Kashmir. So these are a few areas or the region covered by mountain forest. And the basic characteristic for this forest is this only, means these used to change the tree type due to altitude and temperature. Means the tree type found in this mountain forest, they used to change due to change in the altitude. Altitude means mountain forest consists of different altitude ranges, means due to different altitude ranges and the temperature there, change in temperature there, the means type of forest or type of trees there used to change. So these are the 6 points which you need to note about mountain forest. I hope you people have noted down. Our next and the last type of natural vegetation which we are going to study here is mangroves. Fifth and last one is the mangroves. Now again, first point is area covered. Now this mangroves cover less than 1% of total forest cover. So do remember, the area covered by mangroves is less than 1% of total forest cover. Second point is their location. So these mangroves are mainly found in the coastal areas. Here in the Gujarat, Gulf of Kutch, region, in the this Ganga and this Brahmaputra delta region, delta of Ganga, Brahmaputra. Then delta, then it is again found here in the delta of Godavari and Krishna region, Krishna rivers, delta of Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers. It is also found in this part of Orissa, Bitarnika, parts of Odisha and West Bengal. The maximum region under mangrove covers in India is in, remember this, in West Bengal state. Means direct objective question is asked that which state in India has the highest mangrove forest. So as per the recent data available, it is West Bengal. Means in every 2 years we have forest survey. So the data for means what kind of forest and in what amount they are present in India, that used to change. The latest one has come in 2021, December 2021. The next one will be coming in December 2023. So after this area and location, the third point will be basic characteristics. So what are the basic characteristics for these mangroves? These mangroves, these are present in, first of all, salty waters or coastal waters, and these are excellent source for carbon sequestration. So what do you mean by carbon sequestration? It means capturing the atmospheric carbon dioxide into the Earth's soil or into the Earth's ground. So this means these mangroves, they have got an excellent tendency to capture the atmospheric carbon and put them inside the soil. So these are the two basic characteristics of these mangrove forest. After this, our fourth point is the amount of precipitation. The precipitation in these coastal regions is 100 to 150 centimeters of annual rainfall. Do remember this, the precipitation is 100 to 150 centimeter of annual rainfall in these coastal regions. So I hope you people have noted it down. Next is the, for in terms of flora, fifth one is the plants found here. Of course, nothing other than mangroves. This is the predominantly found there, mangroves. And you must be remembering that what kind of wildlife or what kind of animals we find in the coastal areas or in the this mangrove region. You remember crocodiles, then lizards, snakes, gharials. You know, now they means Bitanika region of Odisha or this Ganga Brahmaputra region. These are no famous for their crocodiles, lizards, snakes, and of course the Royal Bengal tiger. Royal Bengal tiger in this Sundarban region. If you remember that this Ganga Brahmaputra delta or this is known as Sundarban region, and this is known for its mangrove forest cover. So with this we come to an end of all all five kind of natural vegetation. I hope you people have noted one by one everything in your copy, and also you might have drawn a rough sketch of map of India, and you people have marked these vegetations here. If your question is asked in 10 marks or say 20 marks, then you can answer accordingly. Thank you.